Well, today I want to talk about ignoring military mental health. We ask our service members to do a lot, protect our freedom, and go into places that are pretty hostile to us and, to really sacrifice, to defend everything, to defend our freedom. And then to expect them to just keep going because we drill into them that that's what they're supposed to do, right? Well, what happens when someone comes back with PTSD from the stuff that they've seen? How do they deal with that? Why are we ignoring the mental health of our service members when we ask them to do so much? They come back with this PTSD and they have a hard time seeing counselors. They have a hard time seeing therapists, or it's been so drilled into them that they need to fix the problem themselves that, if they ask for help, that's weakness. It's not weakness. It's true strength to admit you need help. Now, recently, the USS Abraham Lincoln was in the news because was out on mission for 7 months, 8 months, something like that. Rations were getting low. The story that came out was, they needed to be out there that long and everything, but the stories that came out about how the rationing of food and they didn't have the quality of life. People in jail were under better conditions than they had. Which is really sad considering, how we build up and say that we defend our military and then really don't. We like to promote the strength and send our people out to, fortify empire and to go, slaughter innocent children in the name of democracy. And we do that and, expect them to be fine because we don't really give a shit what happens on the back end. We could care less. So on this Abraham Lincoln, with the supplies running low and the conditions worsening, did it come out to say that the reason why the conditions were getting so bad and the supplies weren't what they needed to be was because of all the bombing Iran had done on our bases that we couldn't resupply. We could not resupply the ship. So as you can imagine, it's causing some strain in the crew. The morale was in the toilet. How could it be anything higher than that? If you're a soldier on that boat, on that ship, and your country is asking you to, commit the ultimate sacrifice, and in your eyes, they're not even taking care of you. They really don't care. If they did, they would give them decent food and decent conditions. And I'm not talking about 5-star treatment. I'm talking about just human treatment. You'd think they would be treated better than our prisoners, but I digress. So as these supplies kept dwindling, there was a sailor that had contacted his wife that had attempted to commit suicide and jump overboard. He couldn't take it anymore. Things were not getting better. They were getting worse. He wasn't getting the care he needed, and he was deteriorating, and decided that the only peace, the only escape and way out that he saw was to end it all, even though he had a loving family at home. This guy could not see anybody. Literally tried to commit suicide and couldn't get help. And then finally had to wait weeks before he could see anybody after he left. After he finally, was able to take time off on leave, however they categorized it. And that's not to mention, it goes into another statistic At least he wasn't another statistic of the already way too high rate of military suicide. I mean, I don't understand what it, and I won't ever understand what it's like to be in that position. To be in such dire straits, to have dealt with so much, and you feel like you can't change anything. You can't make anything better. And no matter what you do, things seem to get worse. So your only escape is to end it. I mean, that should affect any person of rational thought, of any human being that loves anything, that has any, inch of kindness or empathy in their entire body. That should affect you personally. That someone could think that the only escape they have is to end it all. This is awful for civilians, non-military members. It's already a problem. Teens, adults, everybody. But especially with our service members, when we ask them to make the ultimate sacrifice and then don't take care of them. And that really is the bigger conversation. Why don't we take care of them? Now, the lack of mental health care is probably a microcosm of the problem that's really going on in our country. How mental health care is cut in all ways. How whenever somebody, does a mass shooting or some terrorist activity or some terrible atrocity, they always say, oh, well, he was mentally unfit, and, or we can't ban guns, we need better mental health care. But then mental health care is the first thing that gets cut whenever they talk about things that they need to trim the fat from. So why are we ignoring this? We are personally making the problem worse because we're ignoring it. And we're ignoring it because we want to portray the aura of strength. We don't actually care about being actually strong. We just want to portray that. And that's the problem. Maybe we haven't portrayed that enough in our everyday life, personal life. We feel like we have to act a certain way or be a certain way or not be who we truly are around people because they won't accept us, or we don't feel confident enough in ourselves, or our self-esteem is too low that we, for some reason we just can't. So we put on a mask, we put on a costume. We act as someone different. This just exacerbates the problem. Especially when we're handed a gun or heavy weaponry, given training to kill that is supposed to be only used as a last resort, and told oh, you're fighting for your country and its freedom and the freedom of its people. And then you're already on edge, but you're told don't worry, country has your back. And then when you need them, they're not there. We owe it to these people to do better. We must do better. We must do better in all mental health care. We need more counselors, therapists. We need to make it not a taboo so people are not afraid to go, not afraid to ask for help. Is it easy? No, especially if you have always been somebody that has never thought you needed help. Or we're always told by friends, family members, whoever, that asking for help makes you weak. It doesn't. It doesn't. True strength is admitting you need help, is admitting you're not perfect, because that's true knowledge. True knowledge is knowing that there's still a whole bunch of stuff that you don't know, so you're open to learn. It's the same with asking for help. We owe it to our soldiers. We owe it to everybody to do better. We must do better. And it just starts with being human, putting ourselves in others' shoes. How would we feel in that position? If we're going to ask these people to do these things, We must support them. We have to. If we hope to evolve as a people, if we hope to continue forward as a species and a free nation, we must. Or people will start to revolt. We'll have the rise of private armies that will just pay people exorbitant amounts to go do whatever they want, and the national identity will cease to exist. All we need to do is take care of people. We can't ignore this any longer. It's slapping us in the face. Is it going to take one of our own, someone we personally know, to end it all? To do something about it? Is that what it's going to take? Well, let's hope not. We can do better. We will do better. We just have to try. Well, if you like what you heard, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any show ideas or things you'd like me to talk about, please drop them in the comments. I love to hear from people, and I love to talk about whatever people would like me to talk about. There's a lot of conversations that need to happen, so please let me know. And some parting words. Nobody should feel like they're so out of control and and are being forced to conform inside this box, that they feel like they can't get away, they can't make anything better, they can't improve, so the choice is to end it all. This can't happen anymore. I mean, yeah, will it happen sometimes? Unfortunately, yeah. But we can greatly reduce it by supporting each other, by loving each other, by being kind to each other, by empathizing with people's issues, by talking to them, by realizing that we can't just ask people to go do these awful things that we ask them to do and just be okay. And then be ready to take your kid to soccer practice in the grocery store after work. Because it's the same, right? We must do better. We can get back to loving each other and supporting each other, being kind. We really, really can. One of the biggest kindnesses we can do is lifting someone else up when they need help. If they need help, if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. And if you see somebody that needs help, that needs your support, that you could be the one light that could bring them back from the edge, please do it. Our species would owe you a debt of gratitude. That person would owe you a debt of gratitude. We can help each other. Let's stop hurting each other personally and purposely, and support each other when we need, so we don't feel like we have to escape, so we don't feel like we have to leave our loved ones behind because we feel like it's the only way we can achieve our peace. We can be a peaceful people that might have to defend ourselves from time to time, but we certainly can take care of each other better. So please, just be there for the ones you love. Be there for the ones that you don't even know. If you see someone struggling, please reach out. That person might be too afraid to ask for help, or might think somebody doesn't support them. Please reach out. It could really make the difference. And that positivity, that spreads. That's magnetic. It's exactly what our society needs. The love and empathy that will heal it. Let's heal each other. Let's love each other. Be kind. It's time. We can do this. We can do this. We just have to try. We have to consciously attempt to make ourselves better, to be there for each other. And we can. It's the best. It's the only way to heal. So let's apply our collective Band-Aids and get to work.